I don't know. I'm fucking addicted to coffee and football. Alrighty. 3, 2.
Live from the Blitzkrieg Studio.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another beautiful episode of the Sideline Podcast, episode 31. I am your host, Adam Flores, and we are once again here. Finally. It's been so long. Do you guys know how long it's been? The last episode that was brought to you guys was a week 4 preview. This current episode that I'm recording right now is a week 11 preview. Now, I know I don't have very many listeners, but if you guys are listening to this channel, I very much appreciate it. We have been going strong since February. We took a little bit of a break back in, I believe it was July, and then we took a little bit of another break for very different reasons. The first one was because it was like vacation time for me and Chris. And this time it was a little bit different. Some personal things in the background that I'm not going to be getting into. But it was, it was something that was going on. That's all I can say right now. I'm here. I'm well. He's alive. I'll tell you, he's alive right now. He is not going to be doing the episode with us today. He is, I don't know where he's at right now. Forgot where he's at, but I'm here. Nonetheless, we got a lot to talk about. Quite a lot to talk about, actually. And I just realized I was very echoey for a couple minutes. But yeah, it's November. I think the last episode we did was either late September or early October. So it's been 6 weeks. So I want to say it was late September. I'd have to look. I don't even know if it's episode 31. I hardly even know what day it is of the week. I've been busy with school, doing a lot of things. But yeah, like I said, if you guys are longtime listeners, or I guess, longtime listeners, I guess you could call it. I appreciate you guys sticking around and, being here with me and Chris, or just me or just Chris sometimes, where, it's not the most refined episode, and I'll tell you right now that I've been out of the groove for a bit. So if it's a little choppy today, I apologize, but this is me getting back into the groove. This is me trying to get comfortable back in front of the mic and in front of the camera. If you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, in your car or in your room or in the gym, thank you guys for listening. If you guys are watching this while eating, or this is after Sunday night and you are like, oh my God, he is absolutely wrong on everything that he said, I apologize. I'm getting back into the groove of things. I'm trying to keep up. But yeah, I mean, thank you guys for listening consistently. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, sharing with your friends, liking us on social media, the Sideline Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. We are also active on TikTok, and I'm going to be trying to get active on TikTok again, because I feel like that's where, a lot of the more relevant stuff generates nowadays. TikTok is just a huge Chinese company. Shout out to Circle K, by the way, non-Chinese, or I don't think they are Chinese. Maybe they are. They got some of the best coffee in the game. I'm not going to lie. It's November, it's starting to get cold. I wouldn't say it's cold right now. The sun is out, clear skies. So it's not super cold. It's not even hot either. It's kind of just in the middle, but this coffee's great. I like it. Yeah, let's get into it. We got an injury report. I'm gonna be doing the injury report a little bit differently now that it is week 11. Probably going forward, the injury report is gonna be looking different. I'm gonna be doing a injury report on questionable guys, or guys that are gonna be out for the upcoming week. And then I'm going to be breaking it down to where we get updates on guys who have been out or on the IR, because yes, we are 11 weeks in. Guys are coming back from the IR. Guys are getting placed on IR. So there's a lot that's been going on. I mean, week 4 of the NFL, I don't even know what happened week 4 of the NFL. When you're an NFL fan and you pay attention week by week, you know better than anyone that the NFL moves fast. It moves fast, and you're like, oh, week 4, week 11, like, these guys don't even play that many games. No, if you're an avid watcher of the NFL, you know that week 4 is a millennial ago. I don't know. It's one of those words. Yeah, back in week 4, let's see what went down. Wow. Okay. Sorry to give you guys PTSD if you have Malik Neighbors, but that was the week that Malik Neighbors actually tore his ACL. Um, I'm trying to see what else. The Texans blew out or shut out the Titans 26-0. Um, that's when Spencer Rattler gave the Bills a scare Sunday morning. The Jaguars beat the 49ers. That's when the Jaguars defense was really good. They were like number 1 in the NFL for a couple weeks. We had the Packers and the Cowboys tie 40-40 Sunday night game. So that was definitely a game. The Ravens and the Chiefs played that week. That was the week that Lamar Jackson went down with an injury. The Rams beat the Colts. This was quite a week to be watching the NFL. I'm not gonna lie, it was a good week. We previewed that week, and then we didn't preview or recap week 5 through 10. So I apologize about that, but I'm going to be trying to catch us up on everything that we have missed. If you're not super into the NFL and you get a lot of your information here, let's go through it. So the injury report for this upcoming week, week 11, is going to be J.K. Dobbins left last Thursday Night Football with a foot injury and is now a candidate for the IR. He will be out week 11. Devontae Adams left the game with an oblique injury, and Sean McVay came out saying that he could have come back into the game if it was closer. He should be playing week 11. Marvin Harrison Jr. was actually a surprise out for this upcoming week. He did have surgery on his appendix, so hopefully he goes through a fast recovery and we get him back for week 12. Bam Knight, the running back for the Cardinals, is also questionable with an ankle headed into Sunday's game. Quentin Johnston is questionable with a shin injury, but he should be good to go, logging a full practice yesterday. Rashad Bateman, wide receiver for the Ravens, is now dealing with an ankle sprain. He landed in a walking boot after last Sunday's win over the Vikings, and he will be out week 11. Darius Slayton left and then returned to a game with a hamstring injury, but now he is ruled out for week 11. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather. You know, it's cold. Dalton Kincaid left mid-game with a hamstring injury, and he was considered week to week, and he will now be out for week 11. And another one that came to my surprise at least was Sam Laporta is now out with a back injury. He didn't practice all week. He didn't log any sort of practice all week long, which is a little concerning. As far as I'm aware, he didn't leave last week's game at all against the Commanders. So I don't know what's going on with that. Speaking of the Lions and the Commanders last week, it was pretty funny if you guys were watching the broadcast. I don't know if you guys saw that Donald J. Trump, our president, Donald Trump, yes, you heard it right, was at the game. And he wasn't just at the game. He was inside the booth, and he actually called a play or two. I wish I had the audio for that, but that was really funny. I was watching it, and I couldn't stop laughing. And it's not about politics. It was just purely funny that there was a sitting president actively at a game, and he was literally calling a play or two when the Commanders were by the goal line. So it was pretty funny. I mean, I don't know. It was humorous. It was. Let's get some updates on guys who have been out or on the IR. So there's a lot of names to go through, so I'm just going to run through them really quick if you want to slow it down or pause. Omarion Hampton finally gets out of the walking boot and is expected to return after the Week 12 bye. CJ Stroud is out Week 11 in concussion protocol. Jaden Daniels was the big one, who suffered a dislocated elbow 2 weeks ago now, or 2 weeks ago. The MRI came back negative with no severe ligament damage, and he does not get placed on IR, so he will be reevaluated after Week 12 bye to determine if he will play again this season, or they might just shut him down for the season. Kyler Murray got placed on IR with a foot sprain, maybe a soft benching, but we're not going to talk about that. Joe Burrow's 21-day window opened much earlier than everyone expected, and he could return as soon as Thanksgiving week against the Ravens. Cedric Tillman, wide receiver for the Browns, returned off an IR last week with a hamstring injury. He hadn't played since week 4, so just like him, we were on IR. That's what we were. We were on IR, just like Cedric Tillman. Let's see here. Bucky Irving is out once again. Oh, man. Bucky Irving is something we got to talk about. I don't know what to do with Bucky. I traded him in a league. Who did I get from him? I think I got Quinshon Judkins for him. So that was a really good trade. I mean, the player or the person that I traded Bucky Irving to, he is looking to make a playoff push, and he was hoping that maybe Bucky could be back in the next week or two. And he as of right now, I think that manager is in the playoffs, but if Bucky Irving doesn't come back, he might be screwed. Quinshon Judkins isn't like, the number one running back in the NFL, but he is a running back one when he's, logging a full game. I mean, he can get 23 touches a game, so he's a workhorse for sure. But yeah, Bucky Irving, I mean, what? He hasn't played since I want to say like week 3, maybe week 4. I don't. I mean, Bucky Irving is just one of those guys. Like, he's like a Joe Mixon. That's exactly what he's like. And Joe Mixon this year, we have hardly gotten any updates on him, if any. I mean, what do we do with guys like that? Like, Todd Bowles did not want to put him on the IR, which was a good sign. Yeah, he was. Last game he played was week 4, Philly. And he played a full game too. That's the thing. It's not like he just came out of that game. So, I mean, he missed week 5 through 10, or weeks 5 through 8. Okay, so he missed 4 games. Then they were like, okay, maybe he'll come back after the bye when they play New England. Last week they played New England. He was out. So he actually logged a walkthrough, I want to say. I was reading up on it somewhere. He logged a walkthrough this past week for the Buffalo game, and people were optimistic. Okay, like, he didn't get placed on IR. They were like, maybe they were just waiting for the bye week, which the bye week came and went. They played New England. New England came and went, and now here we are, week 11, Buffalo coming up, and he is now ruled out for week 11. So that means that he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hate this fucking meme. Maybe week 6, maybe week 7. 6, 7. I hate myself. I'm sorry. Week 6, week 7 is, or 6 weeks or 7 weeks is how many weeks he's got left if he does come back against the Rams next week, week 12. So, I mean, it says that he's been dealing with a foot and shoulder injury, so I don't know what's going on there. We haven't really gotten any updates on whether it's like an AC joint sprain or whether it's like a broken tibia or whether it's a broken phalange. Like, we don't know what it is with Bucky Irving, but he's definitely a mystery for this year. That's something that we're going to have to talk to later on. Kayshon Boutte was out Thursday Night Football, and so is Ramondre Stevenson. Isaiah Pacheco is now out week 11. Garrett Wilson was placed on IR. RIP the Jets, just because they traded away Sauce Gardner. They traded away Quinnen Williams. They traded away... there's another corner that they traded away, and I forgot. And then Trey Benson, the running back for the Cardinals, head coach Jonathan Gannon said he's taking it day by day and could return soon after being on IR for the past 6 weeks. And Brenton Strange, this is a weird name that I want to talk about just because when he was playing, he was a tight end 1 on the year. Not the tight end 1, but a tight end 1. He was in the top 12 for sure. So Brenton Strange averaged, I want to say maybe like 10 points. And I mean, to be a top 10 tight end, it's not that hard. So, I mean, it was 9 points, 4 points, or 10 points, 5 points, 12 points, 10 points. And then he gets hurt in the game against KC week 5. He left in like the first quarter or something, and he only logged 3 points. He's a candidate to return from IR. His 21-day window was opened this past week, and he is now ruled out for week 11, but he no longer is carrying a bye anymore. So if he's on your waivers and you're struggling at the tight end position, I would consider picking him up in the future, stashing him on your IR this week so you don't have to wait for him the following week. When he does clear waivers, he'll probably be picked up if he's not on someone's IR already. But he's a great tight end. I think he's a very underrated tight end. The only problem is Trevor Lawrence is his quarterback, and I don't like Trevor Lawrence, so that's definitely a concern, but I don't think it's a concern just because, I mean, if he's averaging 10 points as a tight end, that's all you can ask for your tight end, really. If you don't have Brock Bowers, if you don't have George Kittle, and if you don't have Trey McBride, maybe you can throw Jake Ferguson in that conversation, but ever since CeeDee Lamb came back, Jake Ferguson has been, I wouldn't say non-existent, but his role has definitely diminished a little bit. So if you don't have those guys, Brenton Strange is not a bad name to pick up by any means. He's not a touchdown guy, but to average 10 points without a touchdown is definitely great because let's say in the Houston game, okay, he's got 12.1 points, right? So he had 7 targets, 6 receptions for 83 yards. You add a touchdown to that, and that's a 17-point game or a 19-point game right there. again, against San Francisco. That's 6 receptions for 74 yards. You add a touchdown there, and that's 17 points. Now, yes, I get it. I don't like playing the hypothetical game either. But again, you add a touchdown to that stat line, and it makes your week. That's a winning week right there when you have a 17-point tight end. So he's definitely a name that I would look out for on your waivers if he is on there. So yeah, just to recap, I don't think I mentioned Jackson Dart, but Jackson Dart actually went down with a concussion last week against the Chicago Bears, and he is ruled out for this week. I think they're playing the Packers. Yeah, they're playing the Packers. So Jameis Winston is actually going to be getting the start. All right, apologies, guys. Like I said, little under the weather. You know, the weather's changing. I got allergies. I got sickness. You know, it happens. I had to blow my nose. Yeah, let's get into the games. Thursday night recap: the Jets at the Patriots. The Patriots win 27-14 and become the first team to reach 9-2 on the season. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's my Patriot. If you guys aren't aware, I'm a Patriots fan. And no, I'm not saying it just because of this year. I don't think anybody would bandwagon just for this year, but yeah, they would. No. I'm not a bandwagon, though. I'm definitely not. Yeah, Drake May, he's looking damn good. I'll tell you that. And so is our defense. I know we let up 2 touchdowns to the Jets. One of them was a blown play. I know the corner had slipped on the play, and I don't know who had it wasn't Adonai Mitchell. But Adonai Mitchell was traded to the Jets, if you guys aren't aware. So somebody scored a touchdown. It was like a blown play. The receiver, it was like on a crosser, and he was headed towards the corner of the end zone, and then the corner slipped midfield. The receiver got wide open, like nobody was near him whatsoever. So yeah, the Patriots won at home. They're 9-2 on the season. They get a mini bye. They got 3 days off until they go back to practice Monday. It's a good week. It's a good day to be a Patriots fan. It really is. I get it. It's the Jets. It's not the best team in the world that we beat. It's actually the worst team in the league that we beat, or the second worst team if you're counting the Titans. So not much of a competition, but it's definitely good to be 9-2 on the season, especially when you got the Colts and the Ravens and the Chiefs and the Bills all in your conference. So it's definitely something to be happy about for sure. All right, let's see here. We got the Madrid game tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, 7:30 a.m. Mountain time, which is our time. And then do the math. It's 10:30 Central and 6:30 Coastal or California time. We got the Dolphins, the Commanders. Dolphins are favored by 2.5. There's not a lot of fantasy production in this game at all. All you really want to look for is maybe Devon Achane and Jalen Waddle, and that is about it. I would be hesitant on even starting Zach Ertz or Deebo Samuel or Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, or Marcus Mariota can be started for sure. He definitely does have his rushing upside. The only problem is, as a passer, he's not been great. So I'd be cautious if you needed to start Marcus Mariota. You can. I mean, don't get me wrong. He can still have a good game. He can throw 2 touchdowns. It's just a matter of who it goes to. You don't have your number one Terry McLaurin, and you don't have Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels to that offense means so much, and it's ridiculous how much one player can impact a team. Same thing with like Lamar and the Ravens. They were losing when he was out, and then all of a sudden he comes back and they're on a 3-game win streak. So it's crazy how much of an impact one player can have for a team. It just really is. There's not much to talk about in this game. Just give me the Dolphins in this game. I can see how they're favored by 3. The early game window is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 games. It's 7 games. We got the Bucks at the Bills. The Bills are favored by a full touchdown, which is something that concerns me about the Bucks. I know the Bucks aren't playing healthy right now. They don't have Chris Godwin. They don't have Mike Evans. They don't have Bucky Irving. And Baker Mayfield looks like he's playing a little hurt. I don't know what it is, but his throwing motion has not been 100%. The way, like, if you really watch him play over these last 2 games, or even 3 games, he just looks hurt. Like it might be like a lower extremity kind of thing, just because he's not being able to get his full body around. He's also not scrambling as much either. They did get healthier on the line. I think they got Luke Gadecki back, which is good for the offensive line. I don't know the health of Tristan Wirfs right now. Rachaad White has not been good as a runner, and I think that's what is playing a big impact in this offense because Sean Tucker nor Rachaad White can get it going in the run game. So it's a little concerning when you can't do like play action. You don't have play action to work with. So if you don't have a run game, you don't have play action, which means that they don't sell out to put 8 guys in the box, and it's nothing but a passing game for the Bucs. So like I said, it is concerning that they can't get the running game going. Rachaad White has not been great. I think the last good game he had was like against the Seahawks week 5 or week 6, something like that. So I don't know. I'm hesitant on starting Rachaad White. If you're a Bucky Irving manager and you had Rachaad White or you picked him up, you're starting him just because that is your Bucky Irving. I don't know how many other options you would have to put in place for him, but it's a running back. Emeka Egbuka has been phenomenal. He missed one game with a hamstring injury, I believe, I think he missed one game with a hamstring injury, and then he played hurt in one. So he's been great outside of that 1-2 game stretch. He's just been, rookie of the year. There's no way he doesn't get rookie of the year. You can say like Travion from the Patriots if he turns the Jets on. You could also say like Jackson Dart, the way that he literally turned the Giants around. But Brian Dable did get fired, so I don't know if you can really say that. Ashton Genty he's been good. He has not been a bad rookie by any means necessary. He has not been a bad player at all. It's just you're on the Raiders, and in order to win Rookie of the Year, I think you also kind of got to have a semi-winning record at least, and I think they've only won 1 or 2 games on the season, so it's definitely not a recipe for success over there in Las Vegas. I don't really see anyone else standing in Emeka's way. So Emeka Egbuka, congratulations, you won Rookie of the Year already. I don't see anyone else in front of him. Cade Otton has been good since Mike Evans and Chris Godwin have been out. So Cade Otton, you're starting more than likely if you have him in your lineup. Josh Allen, James Cook, Khalil Shakir, you're starting all 3 of those guys. You don't sit Khalil Shakir. He's one of those guys where he can either get you 8 points or he can get you 28 points. It's just a matter of which one he's going to get. He's a solid floor guy. He really is. Josh Allen loves him. Keon Coleman has been atrocious. He probably is on waivers if you go to your waivers right now and you look up Keon. He just hasn't been able to figure it out. Last week he caught a touchdown, I think, against Miami as garbage time. So his stat line looks better for last week, but it was a garbage time touchdown. They were already down like 3 scores or 2 scores, so it wasn't great. I still think the Bills win. They're at home. They're a little healthier than the Bucs, and I think Josh Allen is tired of losing. He already lost to the Patriots. He lost to the Jets. Or no, he lost to the Patriots, the Dolphins, and the Falcons. Those are his 3 losses on the year. So I'm sure he can't be having much fun there, but he's going to be looking to get a get-back game. This is a playoff team. Both of these guys are playoff teams. So give me the Bills, and I don't think they cover the spread. I think the Bucs are a little better than that. The Chargers at the Jags is our next game. Chargers are favored by 3. We got Justin Herbert. Kamani Vidal has taken over the running back or workhorse running back role since Omarion Hampton has been out. Ladd McConkey. Okay, this is something that I jotted down and I want to talk about. Justin Herbert is playing so good, and everybody calls him the what if guy, right? Justin Herbert has been labeled the what if guy, and he's been labeled, if he is a top 5 quarterback, he should be able to get it done, right? That's not the case. He hasn't been able to get it done in the playoffs. He hasn't had a healthy team around him this season, but he is playing out of his mind. I think they're 7-3. Here's the thing. I don't even know what the right word is. Like, he is playing out of his mind when in real life and in fantasy. Look at this. Ladd McConkey, wide receiver 13. Okay, I think his ADP was wide receiver 12, so he's right around there. Ladd McConkey, wide receiver 13. Keenan Allen, wide receiver 16. And Quentin Johnston, wide receiver 20 on the year. He's keeping 3 wide receivers viable for fantasy And it's not just like, oh, you got the wide receiver 12 and then you've got the wide receiver 36. No, he's got three top 24 receivers, three top 20 receivers, which is just insane. This is PPR, so I don't know how it is in half PPR. I don't like half PPR. If you play half PPR, just say you don't know how to play fantasy football. What the fuck is half PPR? I don't know. I'm just bad at math. So yeah, those three guys, you're starting all three of them. The only problem is not all three of them are gonna have a good game in the same game. I think this is one of those games where it might happen though. The Jaguars defense has not been great down the stretch over the last couple games. I think the last good game they had was against Kansas City in week 5. We're in week 11. Like I said, the NFL moves fast, and if you don't know that by now, get used to it. So Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, I think are all very startable in this game, and I think all three of them are capable of getting 10-plus points this game. Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., and Parker Washington are going to be your three more than likely starts for this game. I don't think I'm really missing anyone. Travis Etienne has been very mediocre. I'm not his manager, but I don't really know how he's been doing over the past couple of weeks. I just feel like I haven't heard his name being called lately. Never mind, I'm wrong. He had 2 back-to-back decent games. So after the bye week, he has played Las Vegas and he has played Houston, 16 points and 15 points. So he's been pretty good. He's been getting 15 plus attempts in most of his games outside of 3 of them, which was Kansas City, Seattle, and Los Angeles. That was 12, 12, and 8. So for the most part, he's been getting 15 plus carries. And when he gets 15 carries is good. When he gets less than 15, he's not that great. So give him the ball 15 times and he'll be good. It's just sorry, I got distracted. Give me the Chargers in this game, and I think they cover the spread for sure. The Panthers at the Falcons. The Falcons are favored by 3.5 at home. This is weird just because the Panthers did win the first matchup between these guys couple weeks back. The Panthers blew out the Falcons 30-0, which was insane. And I think the craziest part is the Falcons didn't get inside the 20 in that game when they were playing in Carolina, which is insane. I mean, that's just the craziest stat line you've heard. Bryce Young, I'm not starting in fantasy. He has not been good for fantasy purposes. He has been quite the game manager, though, this year. I'll tell you that right now. Rico Dowdle has taken over this backfield, and he's taken over Chuba Hubbard's role. Chuba Hubbard he only had 3 carries last week, which is just insane. I mean, I think he was the running back 13 or 12 last year. And to go from the running back 13, and you're fully healthy, like he's healthy now, and he only had 3 carries last week just because Rico Dowdle has been that much better. And if you would have told me that Rico Dowdle took over the backfield 10 weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, you're dumb. Like, okay, maybe 50-50. I could see that. Rico Dowdle's been a great guy. He was good with Dallas. But to be completely taking over this backfield, and he's been averaging probably about 20 fantasy points per game, if you include the 2 outliers where he had 32 and 33. So, I mean, there's 32 against Miami, 33 against Dallas, 10 against New York, 5 against Buffalo, so 2 back-to-back mid games, and then 28 against Green Bay and 15 against New Orleans. He's got Atlanta this week, which is a little bit of a better defense than Miami and Dallas. So I don't expect him to get 30, but I don't see how he doesn't get 30 when they give him 20 plus opportunities every single game, and he's bound for at least 1 touchdown. Ted McMillan has been good. I want to say he's a top 26 receiver on the season. And he only has like 1 or 2 touchdowns on the year, so it's crazy how much production he's been putting up without touchdowns. Michael Penix Jr. Has been horrible. Last week against the Colts international game, he was awful. Bijan Robinson has been getting vultured by Tyler Algier over and over and over. Last week, he had 2 vultured by Tyler. So, I don't know. I think Tyler Algier could be a starter on a lot of other teams, but because he is playing behind Bijan Robinson, that is why he is only really the touchdown guy. And I get why they do it. It's load management. You don't want to wear out Bijan early in his career. He's only, 3 years deep into the league. So I understand where the Falcons are coming from in terms of play style, but I just don't like it for fantasy purposes. Give Bijan the ball. If you're a Bijan Robinson manager, you have to be at least semi-annoyed at the fact that Tyler Algier is getting all of the touchdowns. What's that noise? Drake London and Kyle Pitts have been very serviceable. Drake London especially. He had 3 touchdowns against New England. I know that because I was watching that game. Obviously, I'm a New England fan. And he had a pretty good game last week, but I think a lot of it came in the later stages of the game, if I'm not mistaken. He had 6 receptions for 104 yards, and he had 24.4 fantasy points. He did add a touchdown to that. So, his yards per target is insane. He was at 13 this past week. That's his highest on the season in terms of yards per target. Yards per reception, he was at 17, which is also a season high, and that was against Indianapolis. So, Sauce was on him, so it's just maybe not for the entire game, but to do that against the Indianapolis, they're playing Carolina this week, and I get it. Last time they played Carolina, he had 5 receptions for 86 yards. He was serviceable, but he wasn't stellar, But I think the past couple weeks, he has really turned it around. He did not play the game against Miami. So outside of that, he's been great. 31, he had a dud game against San Francisco. He only had 8 points, but outside of that, 31, 38, 24. Like, how do you stop that? He's one of my favorite wide receivers in the league. Even coming into this year, I was super high on him. He was definitely top 10. I don't know where I had him in terms of rankings, but he's absolutely top 10. So you give me the Falcons in that game. Sorry about my nose, guys. I really do apologize. We got the Panthers favored by 7.5 on the road at the Giants without Jackson Dart, without Cam Scatterbo, without Malik Neighbors, without Darius Slayton. Like, this Giants team is hurting, and I'm not going to lie, I was actually a fan of Brian Daboll. I think I was, I know I stand alone on that just because Brian Daboll is not known to be a winning coach, and the last time he had a winning season was, I think, in Daniel Jones's second year. So it's been a while since he's had a winning season, and I understand where the organization is coming from firing him. But at the same token, to be given the team that he's given right now without Jackson Dart, which is the quarterback that he had a lot of say in drafting, without Cam Scatterbo, which is your running back that took over the league, or took the league by storm, should I say, for a couple weeks before he dislocated his ankle. Malik Neighbors, which was the best, one of, if not the best rookies last year, especially at the wide receiver position. I think he had 1,200 plus yards last year with, man, who was throwing him the ball? It was like Tommy DeVito. It was a mixture of him. It was a mixture of Daniel Jones, I think, played a couple games with them at the beginning of the season still. And there was someone else. But, to be given the roster that he was given and expect something out of nothing is just awful. And when he had those guys on the field, they were playing great. But without those guys, like, okay, Jackson Dart goes down, and then you fire him. I think that's very opposite. I think you should have fired him when Jackson Dart was healthy to show, hey, we're okay with this roster, but we're not okay with you, versus like, oh, well, now we're down to our second option at basically every skill position, and then we're going to fire you because you're not doing enough with the talent you have. Like, I think that's so backwards for the Giants, but that's the way the NFL works. It's a cutthroat league. We got Jordan Love, who was awful last week. Josh Jacobs, who is great every week. Christian Watson, Matthew Golden are your 2 wideouts for this game. I think the Packers cannot wait to get Jayden Reed back, just because I truly believe that Jayden Reed is their best option at wide receiver, at least right now. Matthew Golden has not had that breakout chance, and Christian Watson, what's that noise? Christian Watson is constantly hurt. He's constantly hurt. He can never stay healthy. They did give him an extension for like a year or two, so he's there. For the Giants, it's Jameis Winston, Devin Singletary, Tyrone Tracy, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Theo Johnson. Give me the Packers by this, and I think they do cover the spread. You know what? I don't know. That Giants defense is pretty. No, their offense can't. You know what? That's like the game where I would be hesitant taking the over on that. So give me the Giants to cover the spread, but give me the Packers to win the game. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we will be right back. Alrighty, let's go ahead and close this episode out. We got a couple more games to talk about. Sorry, I kind of skipped over the Packers and the Giants. I'm telling you, my nose is it's not great right now. Maybe this wasn't the best week to come back, but we got the Bengals at the Steelers. The Steelers are favored by 4.5 points. We got the Unk Bowl Part 2. The last time this happened, it was a great game. Joe Flacco has been great for this offense. Chase Brown has been revitalized, I guess. I don't know. Is revitalized the right word? Reincarnated? I don't know what the right word is. He's been great. So is Jamar Chase. So has T. Higgins. This offense has been what we wanted in the first place. The only problem is Joe Burrow went down. Jake Browning came in. He was awful. They traded for Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco has been great. And I know everybody's starting to talk about, oh, well, now there's a quarterback controversy, and now Joe Burrow, like this says a lot more about Joe Burrow than it does about Joe Flacco, and how good is Joe Burrow really if Joe Flacco can do this with the same weapons? The thing is people don't understand scheming. They just see box score and they think, oh, Joe Burrow bad now, Joe Flacco good, and this offense is just too good for Joe Burrow. When you have a backup quarterback in, and I get it, it's more than a one-game sample. I understand that. But when you have a backup quarterback in, you run different schemes, right? You don't open up the offense a lot, really. You go to your number one option, and in that case, it's Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase has a reputation of being the number one receiver in the league. Example, last year, he was the Triple Crown winner. When you have that good of a wide receiver on your team, it not only does it make your job easy, it makes it even easier when you got a number 2 wide receiver in T. Higgins, who can be a wide receiver 1 on any other team. So not only do you have one threat downfield, you've got 2 downfield threats. Oh, they're covered. Let me go to my safety valve in Chase Brown, who's a great pass catcher. He's not the greatest runner by any means, but he is a great pass catcher. And that allows Joe Flacco to open up this offense as a backup quarterback. He can throw the ball 45 times a game and not get scrutinized for it because you have Chase Brown as your safety valve. You have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins downfield. This is an offense that has opened up thanks to Joe Burrow being able to be a competent quarterback. You don't need to be an elite quarterback to run this offense. You need to be a competent quarterback, and that's what Jake Browning was not. He was not a competent quarterback to run this offense, and Joe Flacco opens it up the way that Jake Browning didn't. And Joe Burrow adds a different element to this game just because Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback. We know that. This is not an unknown fact. I mean, look at Justin Jefferson. Look at CeeDee Lamb. They have been serviceable, not just for fantasy purposes, but they have been great wide receivers even without their number 1 quarterback. So a wide receiver does not make a quarterback. The quarterback makes the wide receiver in certain cases, but in cases like this where it's Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, or CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, you got those guys that are just they're unicorns at their position. They're so good that they can make almost anyone look good at what they do as long as they're a halfway decent quarterback. So Joe Flacco and Joe Burrow do not have any quarterback controversy. When Joe Burrow is healthy, he should come back. But, I mean, I don't think he gets shut down for the rest of the season because everybody's like, oh, well, let's see what their record is when Thanksgiving comes around and when Joe Burrow might or might not come back. I think he should come back regardless just to get back in the flow state of things. And yes, if their season is alive, I don't stick with Joe Flacco. I go back to Joe Burrow instantaneously. It's not even a question. But that only is in the case that Joe Burrow is 100% healthy, because I do not want to be rushing back a $60 million quarterback by any means. On the other side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Warren, and DK Metcalf for the Steelers. The Steelers have not looked good at all over the last couple of weeks. I think they're losers of 3 of their last 4 games, I believe, or 3 of their last 5, something like that. So I actually like the Bengals in this. The only unfortunate part is it is the Steelers. It's Mike Tomlin. They got to get a way to get back to 500. I think they are at 5-4 right now. So I don't see how they should lose. Their defense looked a little bit better last week. So if their defense can stick it stick it through the entire game, then yes, they win. If not, if they fall apart for even one drive, this Bengals team is just it's too explosive on offense to lose. So Bengals should be able to win this if the Steelers fuck up on one or two drives, because that's all it really takes for this Bengals offense to get ahead. The next game is the Texans at the Titans. Texans are favored by 5.5. There's not much to talk about this game. CJ Stroud is out with a concussion. He is still in concussion protocol. Davis Mills looked pretty good last week. I think he had 2 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown just in the fourth quarter alone. Nico Collins has been great. Like this is the thing that happens that people don't understand. A backup quarterback comes in. What are they told to do? Throw to your number one guy, and that's it. You don't really open up the offense a whole lot. So that's why Nico Collins has looked good with Davis Mills. It's not a CJ Stroud problem. It's just a scheming problem. Joe Flacco comes in. Jamar Chase looks great. Okay, because your offense was not fully at 100%. He's told to go to your number one guy, which is why Jamar Chase is averaging like 12 receptions over the last 3 games with Joe Flacco. It's just one of those things where the backup comes in and the wide receiver one looks good because of the scheming. Same thing happened in Minnesota when J.J. McCarthy came back and Justin Jefferson hasn't been averaging 100 yards per game. It's because the offense opens up just a little bit to where, okay, you don't have to go to your wide receiver one every single play, and your wide receiver one gets worn down with 12 to 15 receptions a game. Rather, I mean, sure, J.J. McCarthy hasn't looked the greatest, but still, when Carson Wentz was in, go to your number one guy, and it's not that hard. That's it. Go to your number one guy. Go to your number one guy every other play, basically. And that's why he was averaging 18 points with Carson Wentz. And that's why he's only been averaging like 8 points with J.J. McCarthy. It's scheming. It's a lot about scheming. Texans should be able to walk away with this win. They did the last time. They shut them out 26-0, so they should be able to win in Tennessee. Bears at the Vikings, like I was just talking about the Vikings. Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, or Kyle Monangai. Kyle Monangai looked great 2 weeks ago when he did get the starting position. I think he's got, in a single game, I think he's got the 4th most yards in a game this season, or 5th most yards. He had like 136 rushing yards, which is crazy. So there might be running back controversy there for sure. Rome Odunze has looked okay outside of that one dud game that he had. He had like 0 points in that game. DJ Moore had that groin injury a couple weeks ago, but he's healthy right now. He just hasn't been very viable in terms of fantasy points. Colston Loveland has looked good without Cole Kmet. J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones is really all you want from this offense right now. I know you have Jordan Addison, and unfortunately, I'm starting Jordan Addison this week, but he hasn't looked great with J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy has been very red light, green light in his starts. He had a good game against the Lions, and then the very next week, you play the Ravens, and he looked like a backup quarterback out there. So he's very red light, green light. The last time that these guys played, it was week 1, I believe, and that's when J.J. McCarthy had that fourth quarter comeback where he scored like 4 touchdowns in 1 quarter. So that was entertaining. Maybe we get another game like that. The late afternoon window is going to be the 49ers at the Cardinals. The 49ers should be able to win this very easily. They do have Brock Purdy coming back. Again, it's another thing there. Yes, I'm not a huge fan of Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy and Mac Jones had a quote-unquote quarterback controversy just because of the scheming that goes on. And, I mean, you have a number one option there, maybe not a number one wide receiver, but their number one option is Christian McCaffrey, and he is the definition of a dual threat. So I don't think there's any quarterback controversy there. I think Brock Purdy is still your guy. They get Ricky Pearsall back too. He should be healthy. George Kittle is healthy again. So this offense is getting healthier, and they already have a winning record to get into the playoffs or at least fight for a playoff spot. So the healthier they get, the more dangerous this team is going to get. Jacoby Brissett, on the other hand, Emari Demercado, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride. Yeah, this Cardinals offense is the opposite of the 49ers. They are getting more and more and more hurt. They lost they lost James Conner, and then they lost Trey Benson, and now Bam Knight is questionable. So they are down to their 4th running back in Emari Demercado. You lost Kyler Murray at the quarterback position. You're down to Jacoby Brissett. Right now, you don't have Marvin Harrison because of his appendix. So Michael Wilson is the next guy up. And the only guy healthy on offense really is Trey McBride. Like, that's your number one option. So don't make it complicated. It's not that hard. Let's see what else we got. Man, sorry guys. We got the Seahawks at the Rams. This is going to be a very, very, very entertaining game. At least I hope so. Both of these teams are tied for number one in their division. You know what I was thinking about is that, yo, you know what I was thinking about is Sam Darnold is getting a little bit of deja vu here. Last year, he ended with a 14-2 record. And you know who also ended with a 14-2 record? The Detroit Lions. And they were in the same division. So I think we could see a repeat here with division leaders where they were both 14-2 and everybody was like, oh, you have to change the way that the playoffs work and playoff seeding because they had the number one and the number two best record, but one of them was the number one seed and one of them was the number 5 seed. That's just the way it works. So it could happen again here. I mean, Sam Darnold on the Seahawks, they're 7-2. They play the Rams, who are also 7-2. Both of these offenses are just on fire right now. So Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker are the only ones that are like, I don't know about starting them. I mean, Zach Charbonnet is good for a touchdown. We know that. Kenneth Walker is unstartable right now. He's averaging maybe like 5 fantasy points a game when he should be averaging like 16 fantasy points a game. So it's a big difference as to what he should be getting rather than what he is getting. JSN, you're starting, it's a plug and play. He's been the best wide receiver in NFL so far. Matthew Stafford has been probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now. He's a candidate for MVP. Kyron Williams has been great. Blake Corum, even his backup, has been great. Puka has been phenomenal, and Devontae Adams is the touchdown leader on the year with 9. So this is set to be a very, very, very good game. I think the Rams walk away with the win at home, though. They are favored by 3.5. The Chiefs at the Broncos is also another great game. This is a potential fight for the playoffs here. If the Chiefs win, they could go on a run. They could even have the potential of getting back to the division leader if they beat the Broncos here and if they beat the Chiefs down the stretch. If they beat the Chargers down the stretch. So this is a very important game for the Chiefs. They're healthy again, minus Isaiah Pacheco, Patrick Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Travis Kelce. You got a lot of starting names in this in this game. I mean, on the other hand, you have Bo Nix, who has not been great, but he is still serviceable. RJ Harvey gets the start thanks to J.K. Dobbins being out. Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin, you're more than likely starting, but Cortland Sutton has not been great for fantasy. I think, I don't know. This Broncos defense is just really good. Give me the Chiefs with the upset. I mean, they're favored. It should be the Broncos favored, but Chiefs are favored on the road, which is crazy, but give me the Chiefs. We have the Ravens at the Browns. Ravens are favored by 7.5. There's not much to talk about here. I mean, you have a lot of fantasy names on the Ravens. I mean, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins. You're going to be starting all those guys. Just don't think twice about it. They're playing the Browns. Dylan Gabriel, Quinshon Judkins. I don't know who would be starting Dylan Gabriel at all. He's horrible. Quinshon Judkins, you're probably starting, even though this Ravens defense has looked revitalized. Uh-oh. I spilled coffee. Whoops. And then David Njoku and Harold Fannin, pick your poison with that. Harold Fannin did have a questionable tag with like a foot or a hamstring, I think. So watch out for that. Sunday night game, we got the Lions at the Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 2.5. Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra, Jamison Williams, Jalen Hurts, Saquon, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. You got a lot of star studs on this slate here for the Sunday night game. It's going to be a good one. I think the Lions walk away with the win here. I think the Lions offense is too good for the way that the Eagles are playing ball right now. If you look at how they played the Packers last week, it was definitely a game. I'll tell you that. It was 0-0 at half. It was a very defensive game. But I think the Eagles offense looked almost dead. They looked dead basically. And I'm not saying that as to like they're a bad team. It was just something about the play calling. It was something about the scheming where they couldn't really get anything going. And I don't want to give too much credit to the Packers defense because the Packers defense, on the other hand, it was great, but it wasn't great enough to be able to stop an Eagles offense like this. And I think the Eagles just kind of ran into a brick wall on offense. So I think they should have a little bit of a bounce back game and get better on the offensive side. But I think the Lions still walk away with this game. And then our last game is the Monday night game, Cowboys at the Raiders. Cowboys are favored on the road by 3.5. This offense is looking to get back into a groove after having 2 back-to-back down weeks, I believe. Well, they had a bye week last week, and then they had the Cardinals the week before, and they lost to the Cardinals, which was kind of just something people didn't expect, I guess. But they're losers of 2 straight. They lost to the Broncos 44-24, and then they lost to the Cardinals 27-17. They get Quentin Williams on the other side of the ball that they traded for from the Jets. They get DeMarvion Overshown. They get their rookie cornerback. I don't know his name, but I know they get their rookie corner. So I think they should be primed for a win. That's all I'm going to say because I know the Cowboys defense. I know it hasn't been great. They also traded for Logan Wilson from the Bengals. So maybe they can go from the 31st ranked defense to the 28th ranked defense. I don't know how much this defense improves. Their offense should be good to go, though. You got Dak, you got Javonte, you got CD, you got Pickens, you got Ferguson. You start all those guys. Don't think twice about it. It's the Raiders. And then on the other side of the ball, I think you also start Genty. You are starting Genty and Bowers, but if you want to take a shot on maybe Geno Smith, if you're struggling at the quarterback position, I know that sounds ugly, but I don't see it as an impossible task for Geno Smith to have a good game against this Cowboys defense. So give me the Cowboys, though. That is going to wrap up episode 31. I know it's not the greatest, and I know it's not the most refined episode, but I appreciate you guys being patient with us. We're trying to get back on track with our scheduling. I'm trying to get back on track with my scheduling. So hopefully you guys see another episode this Tuesday, and we are recapping the week prior, or we are recapping this week that I'm talking about right now. Hopefully all my picks go right. Hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully we get Chris back on the pod, and that's about it. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you later. Peace.